Well, our team has been in Walterboro now since the beginning of this trial back in January. It actually started back on January the 23rd.
Our Sam Perez and Rachel Ripp have been down there and are still in Walterboro tonight, right outside of that Colleton County Courthouse. Sam, Rachel, we had 6 weeks of testimony, more than 800 pieces of evidence. Was there a lot of surprise when the jury verdict came back so soon?
Oh my goodness, Darcy, JR, yes, I was really surprised. So like you said, we started this, we got here in January, and now it's March. And so we've listened to so much witness testimony. We've seen so much evidence. So I know, at least for me, I was surprised when it only took the jury a matter of hours to come to their decision.
Yeah, I have to agree with Sam. I think that hour, just a few hours, I mean, it was not even 4 hours that they came to that decision. It was very concise, and I know that a lot of those jurors towards the very end, they looked very tired, some not paying attention as much. So some of them might have wanted to just wrap up that process and get to that decision quickly.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point. I think seeing the jury's reactions, I know I at least noticed when I was in the courtroom, which wasn't every day, but it was a lot of the days, just sitting in there and seeing the jury's reactions. For me, I feel like a lot of them were kind of checked out of the process at some points. And yeah. I don't know, what was your impression of that?
Yeah, I would say definitely, there were a few jurors here and there, very checked out, like you said. There were some that I noticed, though, that were pretty consistently engaged throughout the whole process. There was one juror in that first row. He was asking for, them to zoom in on the screen when they were showing pictures, different amounts of maybe money receipts or anything like that. So he was, very, very into it.
Absolutely. I think it was a mixed bag. That's also what I noticed. And what I noticed additionally was that I would say when it came for the rebuttal, when the prosecution brought in those 6 different witnesses, that was earlier this week, when they brought in those 6 different witnesses to directly address the witness testimony that happened in the defense's case, I feel like that's when I noticed jurors really perk up. Now, if we remember, that's when things got a little fiery between Ronnie Crosby and Dick Harpootlian, when they were kind of going back and forth. And I think that was Monday of this week. And I think that kind of, for jurors, at least from watching the reactions, it seemed that they realized this was crunch time. They knew that closing arguments were coming both from the defense and the prosecution. And to me, that's when I noticed kind of everyone in terms of the jury really perk up and start to pay attention.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, definitely some of those, I feel like, key points in those closing arguments just throughout the trial for, both the defense and the prosecution. With the prosecution, I think what really stood out to me was them questioning those steps that Alec had before leaving for Alameda, leaving for his mom's house, and also the fact that, he didn't just call Maggie or Paul, or instead of how he called Maggie and Paul, he could have just, walked down that driveway, saw what they were up to. As for the defense, I think they had a very consistent theme of, poking holes in the sled investigation, everything like that. But what did you think?
Absolutely. I think the prosecution and the defense just, they really were going against each other. And the common factor was they both asked the jury to use their common sense to come to a verdict. Obviously, they were hoping for different end results, but ultimately it seems like the jury was able to do that and come to a decision pretty quickly. So it's been a crazy 6 weeks here.
It has.
But we're going to continue bringing you that coverage as we go into tomorrow with the sentencing. So for now, Darcy and JR, back to you.
All right, Rachel, Sam, thank you. Yes, sentencing for Murdaugh gets underway at 9:30 in the morning. You can watch it live right here on News 19 or on our social media platforms, including WLTX Plus, our YouTube page, or on our website. That's WLTX.com.
And if you want to watch analysis of the trial from our legal experts or check out any of our in-depth coverage, we now have an Alex Murdaugh section on our free WLTX Plus app, which you can download on your Roku or your Amazon Fire.